Hello you degenerates. Here's a watch I don't see too much of, at least in the United States. This is the FRXA001 from Naval Watch Company. If you take a quick look at their website, you'll see La Chaux de Fonds Swiss printed proudly on the front page. You're probably thinking, Naval Watch Company you say? Swiss you say? Sign me up. Let me be clear. This brand has nothing to do with the Navy, the military, or Switzerland. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but the intended perception is misleading. There's nothing wrong with advertising yourself as just a shamelessly fun brand, because that's a huge part of collecting, and I think that kind of brutal honesty would be refreshing. The FRXA001 is exactly that, shamelessly fun, and as a wristwatch, it'll do all of your basic watch stuff just fine. The overemphasis on convincing the customer base that this is a Swiss watch, I felt, was completely unnecessary and makes me question them straight off the bat. The fit and finish is on par with your typical Seiko 5, which would make sense because the Naval Watch Company is owned by the Japanese company Lower Case, and they frequently collaborate with Seiko. I will say without hesitation that it's a damn good looking watch. The field style with crown guards is something I am a fan of, and the old radium patina on the indices is applied just enough to be tasteful without trying too hard to look vintage. Some may have an issue with the Cyclops, but I myself am growing to re-appreciate them. I find the Cyclops hate a tired narrative. Personally, I think it adds a lot of charm, and the overall result of everything combined is a watch that has a lot of character. Of course, these are all subjective opinions. Here are some objective facts. Let's start off with the dimensions. Overall, the proportions are good, and I like how it fits my 8-inch wrist. The watch is powered by an automatic NH35 movement. That's a great movement. However, considering you're paying just over $300 to get it, I'd say you're right at that line of getting ripped off. I'm not saying that $300 is too much for an NH35 watch, but I do think it's teetering that edge. For the hardware, it's got a stainless steel case and bracelet, an acrylic crystal, a push-pull crown, and a screw-down caseback. With a water resistance rating of 50 meters, this isn't going to be a dive watch, and it's not meant to be a dive watch. I've read comments on my posts saying that it should have a deeper rating because it's from the Naval Watch Company, but let me assure you that even if this was a Navy issued watch, there is an extremely small percentage of sailors who are ever in the water. The rest of them are in a ship designed to keep them above and or separated from the water 100% of the time. If you're in the Navy and you find yourself surrounded by blue water and you're not specifically attached to a Special Warfare or NSW command, chances are you are in some serious shit. While I would prefer a deeper water resistance rating, 50 meters is realistically more than enough for your average degenerate. The indices and hands have applied lume, but it's pretty weak. You'll get around 30 minutes of glow after blasting it with a flashlight. You'd think it'd have that legendary Seiko lume, but it glows more like a Hamilton. I guess they wanted to keep that genuine Swiss experience. The dial has a classic military style with some flair from the applied indices. It looks clean and adds a layer of visual complexity. You'll notice the broadhead arrow symbol, which is not a logo. This symbol was originally used to mark property of the king, and transitioned over to the military to identify ordnance and the like. Despite this watch not being a real military watch, I still find it cool even as just a quirky tribute. The 5 lines of text is excessively obnoxious and I absolutely love it. Remember, this is a shamelessly fun watch, so I look at it more as like an inside joke. Moving on to the crown, I hate this crown so much. On the surface it looks fine, and to be fair, it does what it's supposed to do. It's just too small, the crown guards are too big, and the end result is a bad combination. You're only able to turn the crown about a quarter turn at a time, which is such an unsatisfying and unfulfilling experience. The caseback is your typical open display caseback. It's either going to be really cool or nothing special depending on how far along you are in this addiction. I think it's alright. The movement is about as undecorated and unfinished as you can get, so I would have preferred a simple and clean brushed caseback. Here's a look at the bracelet. It's a standard 3-piece bracelet with hollow end links and a milled clasp. The clasp is a big fail because it comes with 0 micro adjustable positions. I don't know who the hell thought that was a good idea. As it stands, this watch is either just a bit tight or just a bit loose, and I really could have used some micro adjusts. Fortunately, the drilled lugs makes it super easy to try other alternatives, and you can't deny that it looks clean as fuck on a 2-piece strap. The finishing is decent. Again, nothing you haven't seen before already on a Seiko 5. I would have preferred a brushed bezel, so that may be something I do myself in the future. Man, after finishing this review, I'm realizing that this is actually a shitty watch. And yet, I still really like it. Sure, it's not perfect, but like I said many times before, it's a shamelessly fun watch. This is one of those watches where I knew what I was walking into and decided to get it anyways. Look, I'm not here to try and convince you to buy this thing. I'm just here to share my uncontrollable decline into watch-addicted degeneracy, and to that end, this watch is right up my alley. All I can say is that I like it. I regret nothing, and I'm probably gonna buy something else from this brand. It's kinda like overeating at a buffet. I feel a little dirty, but I know I'm gonna get another plate. That's it for now. Stay classy. I sure as hell won't.